My name is Isaac Apel. I'm 13 years old, and I'm on the purple team with Mrs. Rhodes. I have a question. Which car fuel burns the cleanest? So, I tested and researched 4 car fuels. Number 1, ethanol. Number 2, vegetable oil. Number 3, gasoline. And number 4, diesel. From my research that I got off of energyrefuge.com, I found that ethanol is made from ground corn or any other plant that has high starch, sugar, or cellulose. The sugar, starch, or cellulose is then fed to microbes, and the microbes release byproducts such as carbon dioxide and ethanol. Ethanol does have its pros and cons, though. All of the fertilizers and heavy machinery it takes, which run on diesel, add up and do not help the earth. Also, it doesn't get as good of a mileage as gas or diesel does. Diesel and gasoline are fossil fuels. They are found deep, deep down in the earth. They have been around for thousands of years and will not last forever. Gasoline and diesel get a better mileage than ethanol, but people have been complaining that they're not very eco-friendly. Vegetable oil is not normally used as a fuel. It's mainly used as cooking oil, but it can be used as a fuel, and when it is, it replaces diesel, and so it can be very, very efficient or eco-friendly. Vegetable oil is not primarily used as a fuel. It's mainly used as a cooking oil, but it can be used as a fuel, and when it is, it has some major advantages. First off, it's widely available. All you have to do is stop at your nearest fast food restaurant that cooks their food in vegetable oil and ask for their used oil. Second off, it has an increased mileage. One guy drove his Mercedes 800 miles on one tank of vegetable oil. However, there are a few cons mixed in with the pros. For one, it can be costly, and because you have to buy a converter and hire someone to install it. And that could cost between $800 to $1,600. Second off, it clogs really easily. So, prepare to unclog it. I had a hypothesis of which fuel would be the cleanest. My hypothesis was that I thought vegetable oil would be the cleanest, because it's made of vegetables. What could be cleaner than that? The materials I had for my test were denatured alcohol. It's not pure ethanol, but it's pretty close. And I called it, for short, Fuel 1. Fuel 2 was gasoline. And Fuel 3 was diesel. I don't have those with me. Fuel 4, 100% pure vegetable oil. I also had yarn. And the yarn was used to burn and keep the fuels on. Also, test tubes. 4 equally sized test tubes for the fuels. Matches to light the fuels. Water for sterilization. And a pot also for sterilization. And I had petroleum jelly. Poster board. And a butter knife, tongs, and scissors. My procedure was, well, first off, you had to put water in a pot and boil it. After that, you put the test tubes in the pot and left them in there for 5 minutes to sterilize. After they were sterilized, you take them out with the tongs because they will be hot and stick them in the test tube holder. Then you take all your ingredients, fill the test tubes to the same height with the different fuels, each fuel in a different test tube. Then you get your string ready. Take a long string and string it between 2 items. Trays, poles, chairs, like I did, and just string them on. And then take smaller strings. Use the tape it on. Tape those smaller strings on. They all have to be the same length. Then, you take the poster board. Take the petroleum jelly, and take a butter knife, and spread the petroleum jelly on the poster board like bread and butter. Do that 5 times, and make sure to string 5 strings. The extra one will be for the control. So, you take the first one, first poster board square. Take a match or a lighter, hold the poster board square over the string. Light the match, burn the string, and keep the poster board in the smoke. Then, after it is relatively close to the tape, make sure it doesn't get too close or the long string might snap. Then you put it out, use your fingers, blow on it, and take your poster board, lay it down, take the next poster board. Now, keep this ready close to you, and take the first fuel, which I used ethanol as my first fuel, fuel 1. Dunk the second string, not the control will be burned, so it won't be able to go in it, and dunk it in, and take it out. It may drip, so be careful not to drop your match. Then, take the poster board square that you had spread on, not the one you used already, but the one that you hadn't used. Take a light it, hold this over, burn the ethanol or whatever fuel you use first, and keep it in the smoke, just like the control. After it gets close to the tape, put it out. Then you take this over, put it next to your control, and make sure to label them so you know which one's which. And repeat with the different fuels. Take the test tube with the different fuel, dunk it in the next, dunk the string in the next test tube. Okay. Dunk it in. Take your next petroleum jelly one that you hadn't used. Take a match, light it, burn it, keep it in the smoke. Do the next with the next 2 fuels and the next 2 petroleum jelly. After you do that, you have all your samples. Ethanol, gasoline, vegetable oil, and diesel. Now, I had no exact way to measure the amount of pollution, so I relied on visual aid. So, I looked at the different poster boards, and the blacker they were, I assumed the more pollution was in that fuel. Now, it's not exact, and it may not even be close, but it's as close as you're going to get unless you can buy this one machine that does measure pollution. After that, then you just clean up your mess, make sure to clean it up, and extra fuels, do not dump them in the grass because they will easily catch fire, especially gasoline. You always got to be very safe. I had safety goggles to protect my eyes from the fumes. I observed the color of the flame as well as the blackness of the poster board. So, for my different flames, ethanol, to me, burned the cleanest. Its flame was invisible, so invisible I had no idea if the string was actually lit until the whole long string snapped in half. Gasoline burned with a blue flame. It burned quick, so I had to extinguish it very fast. Then diesel, it burned with an orange flame. And vegetable oil burned with a red flame. According to my observations, ethanol burned the cleanest, with the poster board practically the same that it was when I first spread on the petroleum jelly. The second cleanest was gasoline, which is good, since that's primarily what we use in our cars today. Third cleanest, vegetable oil. That was surprising to me. I assumed vegetable oil would be one of the cleanest, since it's made of vegetables. So, I had guessed wrong. And the filthiest, diesel. The petroleum jelly poster board was almost all black. That is what I concluded. Ethanol's the cleanest, diesel's the dirtiest. In the future, we will most likely find a way to make ethanol have a better mileage in a car. We also might find a way that vegetable oil can replace diesel without all the adapters. Because even though vegetable oil is one of the dirtiest is diesel. So that may not help much, but it could help. That is what I concluded from my experiment. Thank you. And remember, always retest.